Now, if you have your fantasy Bachelor League going, last night's episode probably destroyed your bracket because the number of women sent home last night was totally out of hand. And the number of tears shed could probably fill a pool, right, Leslie?
Exactly. And most of those tears were shed by Nick.
It wasn't even the ladies. But we were kind of wondering if last night was like a record amount of women that went home.
I know, because if we count technically Taylor, 7 women went home last night.
Because we start off where we picked up last.
Yes, Taylor, came and interrupted Corinne and Nick during their date, and she was like, 2 things. First of all, you lied this afternoon and said, I want to talk to you, Nick. Oh, there's a lot of awkwardness, so I'm going to say that a lot. Awkward.
Yeah.
So Nick actually goes outside with her, and she just lays
it out.
Basically.
Yes.
And says, I think I was sent home because you think I am a bully and that I called her stupid and then my character was called into judgment. I mean, just on and on and on. And he kind of just sat there and goes, look, I don't respect bullies. I respect you. You're not a bully. But he said this wasn't based on that. I'm not, he said, I still have things to figure out. He was not going to send Corinne home. We kind of knew that. But the producers are very good at making it seem like if you looked at scenes that 2 people were going home. Okay, but no, she goes off her merry way. And so then he decides not to have a cocktail party because he says he knows what he wants to do, which I respect, actually. He's like, let's go right to it. And the girls are freaking out.
Yeah.
He sends 3 girls home. I had to look one of them up, Josephine, who's the girl that slapped him in one of the episodes. As it was a role.
Yes, when they were playing that breakup thing.
Yeah, Josephine went home. Jamie went home, and Dolphin Girl, Alexis, went home.
She was all the funny outtakes at the end of every episode.
And I think she even said you never got to see her serious side. I thought she was cute, though.
There she is.
Yes. So now they go to St. Thomas, and I love Raven. She just says how it is. She's like, it's the perfect place to fall in love, and it's the perfect place to send people home. She just is so awesome. I love her. First one-on-one date goes to
Christina.
Christina, yes. And he is intrigued by her. She has an incredible story. She was born in Russia. She left home when she was like 6 because her mother, they didn't have much food. She talked about how she ate lipstick. She had no food to eat. I mean, it was a horrible story. And that when she was 6, her mother yelled at her to get out of the house, and she believed her and left and was in an orphanage for 6 years until she was adopted at 12. And I mean, I admire her, and I thought Nick, what he said about her. I mean, she could have all these excuses on why she isn't doing better in life, and she seems to be very successful. And
she's a dental hygienist in Lexington, Kentucky.
And I think that really, I mean, I got teared up listening to her story, and so he had to give her the rose. I think there is a connection, but he would be vilified more than he already is.
After that.
Give her the rose. So we go back to, there's a group date now, we find out. But the only 2 people not mentioned are Whitney and Danielle. And so we're all like, wait a minute, there's another 2-on-1 that we didn't know about? Like, that was a surprise. And Danielle right away is like, why am I not? So we don't find that out first. We go to the group date, and Nick thinks, I'm just going to go on the beach and play. Oh, bad mistake.
It was such a weird date.
It was, because all the girls are like, here we think we'd have one-on-one time with him. And there's always in the season the one episode where everyone starts to doubt everything. And the girls, wow, I mean, at one point there's a scene of 3 different girls on sides of the beaches, all in tears.
All crying.
All crying.
Yeah.
Jasmine, though, seemed to really lose it. She really wanted the one-on-one date. She hasn't had much time with him, and she's over it. And she just gets in her head and goes a little crazy, I think. And to the point where, it was everybody's in tears in this episode. And
well, at the cocktail party is where she kind of tells Nick, like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. It didn't really pan out well for her.
She was like, I will be seen.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, she doesn't let Nick say a word. She just on and on and on about, she makes a mention about, I get so mad at you, I want to choke you.
And she said it over and over and over again.
And made kind of a weird sexual joke about it. And I'm like, that's weird. And so he obviously, I knew it was coming, he sent her home.
Right.
Okay, so there's number 4.
So there's another one.
Yes.
So then we have the 2-on-1.
2-on-1 date. He early on the date realizes he needs to send Whitney home.
Yeah.
But what I caught right away is he did not give Danielle the rose.
Right.
And you see it at dinner.
Yep.
And I felt so awkward. She's like, I'm falling in love with you, which I thought was, what? And he just sat there in awkward silence. Awkward.
Yes.
And basically says, I can't. I have to send you home. I'm so sorry.
I know.
And he said he wanted, he thought he could see her as his fiancée in the beginning. He loses it.
But we end on the fact that he goes to the other girls that are still left and is crying.
And basically said he's afraid what happened with Danielle, who he thought was going to go to the end, will happen with the rest of them. He doesn't know if he can do it. Like, he doesn't know if he can continue being the Bachelor. He walks off.
But before we go, I know the previews for next week. It's finally the episode I've been looking for. Is where Corinne tries to go to his room.
Yes. Oh, she goes to his room.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll see what happens when she goes in there. That's where we're going to leave that off. Now, you can watch a new episode of The Bachelor every Monday night right here on KGUN 9. And then tune in on Tuesdays. Leslie and I recap all the dirty news.